Hi guys, it's Kara from Goddess to Goodness. For some reason, triggers is what's coming up today, right now. So it's the new moon in Scorpio, and I'm a Scorpio. I'm a double Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio sun and a Scorpio rising. So I'm probably a little more balanced during this new moon, but I'm still getting all the intensity and all the emotion and all the depth and all the shadow and all the everything that you guys are getting. So triggers comes up. Okay. So I have an example of what I'm talking about. So I thought it came up a few times, like actually today. So I was watching another tarot reader on YouTube, and they had said something, and like it didn't affect me at all today, but my guides chimed in and were like, remember like 2 months ago you would have been so triggered by this. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I've literally come so far in my healing process. And then like, I don't know, a week or two ago, a friend of mine was going through, a couple of friends of mine were actually going through some really, deep wound healing. And I witnessed they I had like opened up a tarot reader's thing, and their sign, it like popped up in my feed, and I was like, oh, watch this, it's really pretty cool. Like this lady's really, you know, like I highly recommend her. Her readings are right on. And there was this comment of like, well, it's not going to resonate. It's a general reading, so it's not going to. And I'm like, no, no, no. Just you take what resonates, and if it doesn't, just don't watch it, whatever. Well, this triggered my friend to watch multiple readings that day, which is fine. I've been there, I've done it. You know, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do in order to like get you through whatever you're going through. And so, like as long as you're not hurting yourself or others, that's fine. And that's good. That's actually healthy. And so after like 3-4 hours, the consensus, the announcement is, well, this was the last reading that I just listened to was the one I was meant to listen to. And as it was like explained and as it was like recounted, it aligned with like their their version of the outcome, with their attachment to the outcome that they preferred. And that was the reading but it took them, more than several readings from all these different YouTube tarot readers, besides a reading that I had given, and several other conversations over like a 2-3 day period. But it more aligned with what their attachment to the outcome was. And so my point is, and it's just not even my point, it's like spirit's point. So when I do these, it's usually because I'm guided to. It's a channeling. So what I want to say here is triggers. So instead of trying to avoid the trigger, because we all do it, we're human. We don't want to feel bad. We don't want to feel unsure. We don't want to feel insecure or lost or, we don't want to feel like we're in the dark. It's scary to go through the shadow with no light. when we can't find the light switch, it becomes scary. You know, you might be okay at first, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, but where's that light switch? You just want to shed some light. And so instead of so what Spirit is trying to tell you through me is that when we are triggered by certain things, and this is Scorpio new moon, so chances are you may be doing a lot of this in the next week or two. Scorpio is all about extremes, and it's all about death and rebirth. So when I say death, it's like death of the old things in your life, like people, places, things, behaviors, beliefs, patterns, and the rebirth of new things, like to replace the old things. So you have to have a death of certain things in order to make space for the new stuff. It's like if you have a living room and it's filled with furniture, you obviously can't order a new furniture set and still have all the old stuff in there. So anyways, what Spirit is asking right now is that when these triggers come up, as human beings, we want to avoid them. We want to brush over them or brush them under the carpet or glaze over it in the quickest, most efficient way possible. Well, I'm being guided to tell you that if you do that, it's just going to come back up at a different time in your life in a more substantial way. Let's put it that way. So, you're being asked to observe these triggers with compassion and resonate with why is this triggering you? Why? You don't have to necessarily come up with the detailed reason, but what this is trying to make you aware of is yourself. So self-awareness is key here. It's about making the conscious effort to recognize when you are triggered, what's triggering you, and why it triggers you. Because here's the thing, the answer will come. You might not know the answer at the moment, but we are servants to our subconscious. Always remember that. As human beings, that's just how we operate. Your subconscious dictates 99.99999% of your behavior, your patterns, your beliefs, your everything. So the trick is not to control the subconscious, but it's to be consciously aware of the subconscious. Okay? So when triggers come up, recognize that it exists. Let it exist. Observe it like you would looking through a microscope at a specimen. And, write down what you see. If you don't write it down, take a note of what you see. Because here's the thing. When you become consciously aware of anything, just anything in your life, your subconscious will catch up. Okay? And when you become consciously aware and you consciously take steps to respond to it in an appropriate way, as opposed to running on autopilot. Because when we are servants to our subconscious, we are essentially running on autopilot programming. We're running on outdated software. We might not even know it's outdated. But the point is if you become consciously aware It's not like you have to make a big change or a big effort to change it, but it's about acknowledging it. And when you acknowledge stuff, it's also like, be compassionate. Like, it's like your human computer. Your brain is like your human laptop. So it's like you would say the same thing to your laptop. Like, oh man, I've been meaning so long to like update the software, and my poor laptop works so hard just to like, I have all these windows open and all this whatever. Please have the same compassion for yourself. Okay? So your laptop might crash, the software might like time out or not respond correctly. You're not going to like hate it and never use your laptop again. No, you're just going to like restart it, work through it. You're going to press Alt, Control, and Delete and back yourself out of that software, out of that program, and you're just going to start fresh, right? You're going to open up a new search page, a new tab, whatever it is. You're going to shut down your computer and restart it. So have the same compassion for yourself. This energy is all about death and rebirth. So remember that. For wherever you are letting go or having deaths of things that no longer serve you. And when I say death, I'm not talking about physical death. I'm talking about, could be ego death, spiritual death. When I say spiritual death, I'm just saying like paradigms or programming that you once identified with, you may not anymore, or it may have shifted. Okay. But this could be like anything that just doesn't. You have to remember, in the Scorpio energy, you are a phoenix rising. You are a phoenix rising from the ashes of the old burnt up software. The software that crashed and burned. You can't even use it anymore. It's now time to update your software. It's now time to be reborn from the ashes of that fiery death. You're a phoenix. We're all a phoenix right now. Whether you are born Scorpio or not. This is phoenix energy. Okay? So let's put it that way. Instead of Scorpio energy, instead of death and rebirth, let's call it phoenix energy. Because that's where you are, my friends. It's phoenix energy. You are going to rise up from your proverbial ashes. Okay? But you have to go through it in order to come out of it. So please remember that when you're triggered. When you are triggered, allow it, like acknowledge it, allow it, and then work through it. And then you know what? It's done and it's over. The death has taken place. You've already rebirthed your spirit, your soul, your consciousness out of the old and into the new. So the only way out is through. Just allow yourself to go through it. Allow it. The more you resist against it, it's just going to come back at a later time harder and heavier than it is now. So whatever the universe is trying to get you to release and put to rest, allow it to happen, okay? That the tighter you try to hang on, the harder it's like, the more arduous your journey will be. So accept that this is for your highest good. Appreciate what was good about it and how it helped you in the past. And then also appreciate the letting go, because you're no longer in that phase of your life where you need that anymore. You've grown and you've conquered, and you've ascended. Okay? So you are the Phoenix Rising. Just remember that, kiddos. Alright. I love you. From one Scorpio to all the other proverbial Scorpios out there, we are the Phoenix Rising. Okay? I love you guys. You have a beautiful night. Bye.